Western Union chose Solana over XRP and Ethereum. Funders are saying the XRP ledger and Ripple are done because of this partnership. I started to dig into this and what I found was shocking. Let me go ahead and break this all down for you. Once we get through this whole video, you'll see what I see. At the end of this thing, you're probably going to have a big smile and say, you know what? Sensei's right. This is a nothing burger, but let me show you what I found. Let's just jump into this. You won't believe it. Solana says it's official. Western Union, the world's largest money transfer business, is building exclusively on Solana. Really cool. Here's the CEO of Western Union talking about this partnership.
So for 175 years, we've been connecting people with technology, and we've been using that technology to move money. This is the next evolution, moving to digital assets and the ability to move money seamlessly, cost effectively, and rapidly everywhere around the world, using the infrastructure and the scale we already have with modern blockchain technology. We think this is the next evolution, not just in our history, but in how remittances happen around the world. If you're Western Union and you're already moving $100 billion a year across borders, picking a partner that does exactly that, fast, efficient, stable, and secure, is really, really important. And so we went and looked at most of the other alternatives and came to the conclusion for an institutional use case like ours, the Solana blockchain was the right choice for us.
Fair enough. The Solana blockchain was the right choice for us. There was a press release here. Western Union announces USDP stablecoin on Solana network, digital asset network. And then I wanted to explore really quickly before we get into all the juicy bits, what was like the level of partnership that Ripple and XRP had with Western Union previously. And so what that is, let's just jump into it. Western Union has extensively tested Ripple's technology and the XRP ledger for cross-border payments over the past decade, but it has never scaled those pilots to live production level money movement for customers. All available evidence shows that their work with Ripple and XRP was limited to pilots and controlled tests with no broad commercial deployment. You can see back in 2015, they were doing testing and pilots. 2018, recently 2021, alongside other blockchain experiments. The company ran transactions using Ripple's XRapid, which is on-demand liquidity today, but official statements and coverage consistently indicate these were test phase only, no full-scale rollout with actual customers. Western Union CEO stated in 2018 that the cost savings and efficiency were not realized enough to justify broader adoption. So fair enough, they didn't see enough cost savings. They didn't want to move forward with Ripple and XRP. I totally understand that not every company is going to say that Ripple's use case for whatever technology that they have is going to fit what they're going to do. So all good. We're going to see much more of this in the future. I don't let this affect me one bit. I did want to take a look at Western Union's actual business. Has it been increasing or has it been decreasing over the recent years? Like, why did you choose to do this now? So let's go ahead and explore some of that information. Solana is now Western Union's more direct competitor, because I wanted to know, like, who is Western Union's more direct competitor? Is it Solana or is it Ripple and XRP? Solana is now Western Union's more direct competitor with its blockchain payment sector, especially after Western Union's decision to launch its own USDP stablecoin exclusively on the Solana network and not the Ripple and XRP. Western Union's shift to Solana. Western Union will distribute its dollar peg stablecoin for 100 million global users starting in 2026. The company publicly stated that Solana was chosen due to its transaction speed, scalability, and high volume remittances and extremely low fees. Of course, why not XRP? We already talked about that. I don't really need to hit that home anymore. But it says Western Union has processed, it says the guy said 100 billion. So let's just use that annually in cross-border payments with yearly revenues around 4 to 4.2 billion across the last 5 years. Overall, the company processed volumes and transaction numbers have remained mostly flat or experienced slight decline in recent years. This is what I was looking for. Right when I heard this partnership and people were fighting, I was like, I wonder how Western Union's business is actually doing. So let's go ahead and explore that because I have that information down here below. Check this out. Western Union's annual revenue peaked at about 4.7 billion in 2020, but has declined to 4.1 billion in 2025. Transactions volume have staggered or slightly decreased in core money transfer segments. The CMT consumer money transfer segment saw a shrinking revenue base with an annual decline of 6 to 9% in recent report. Western Union's business has gotten slightly smaller in overall revenue in retail volume, but its digital activity and service diversification has somewhat offset this decline. So they are expanding in other places, but they are decreasing in some. Take a look at their revenue over the last 5 years. As you can see, they peaked here in 2021 with $5 billion, but in 2022, 2023, and 2024, you have noticed a heavy decline. And when you decline from 5 billion to almost 4 billion, $1 billion is almost 20% decline in 5 years. If you ask anybody running a business right now, a 20% decline in business means you have to lay off people and you have to start doing other things, because if the trend keeps going, you might not be in business much longer. And of course, Western Union is now going to have to worry, is Solana ever going to go down and crash? There has been a lot of examples of this happening over the last few years, and I wouldn't surprise me if this is going to affect their business overall. Now, what you're not hearing is this. What you don't read, Solana had to write a $25 million check with $25 million in liquidity stimulus for a 6-month exclusive for this deal. This is something that Ripple is never going to do. They're not going to write a check for $25 million and give you $25 million in liquidity. That's $50 million for a 6-month deal. This is bad business for Ripple, and they would never, ever, ever want to do something like this, right? Especially when Western Union business has been declining year over year. It's tempting for legacy orgs to de-risk their proof of concept with a big check, but they'll regret it when their chosen blockchain goes down and millions of payments are offline. Now, you did have, a lot of people talking about this. Solana paid Western Union $50 million for a 6-month deal when Sol stops working. Yes. So a lot of people are talking about this. Hidden Road clears $3 trillion annually. G Treasury clears $12.5 trillion a year. And so these are what Ripple's really focused on, not the smaller potatoes that Western Union actually has. And Hugo Filion, the founder and CEO of Flare, says Western Union's Solana deal holds no bearing on the XRP ledger or Ripple. Ripple is clearly going after the extremely lucrative realms of trading and asset management. Flare augments whatever verticals Ripple and the XRP ledger will win by expanding use cases and making XRP hugely programmable. And if you take a look at the overall cross-border market size, 187 trillion, and you clearly what Western Union is doing, this is nothing. This is not a big deal for me. And I've seen a lot of people starting to freak out about news like this. Listen, Ripple and XRP are not going to solve every single use case. We need a very lucrative community of different assets. Ethereum's going to succeed. Solana is going to succeed. We want XRP to succeed and all of these other assets that we are invested in. The only way to do that is that everybody is doing different things and growing different verticals, and all of this stuff is interoperable. So take a deep breath. Let's zoom out and really understand what we're dealing with here. King Solomon said, subsized Western Union stablecoin launch shouldn't shake anyone's conviction in XRP. It'll be multi-chain anyways, not just on Solana. But if you still think XRP needs the global bridge asset narrative to succeed, that's where my conviction disappeared. Even Solana feels the need to take digs at XRP. They wouldn't do that if they were truly confident. This is what you're seeing with Swift and the innovation officer at Swift, right? I'm still extremely bullish on XRP, just tired of explaining that Ripple isn't replacing the Fed. XRP isn't being pegged to gold, and it's not hitting $500 by the end of the year. So King Solomon kind of taking a shot here at Jake Claver. The great thing about the accounts saying that these things, it is always a win-win. Move the date, shift the narrative. If something happens, it's confirmation. If it doesn't, it's manipulation, or the switch hasn't flipped yet. So I just thought that was some good feedback. Vet says, between you and me, the Western Union Solana news exposed lack of substance in conviction of some, but we will remember this smaller chapter as one of the indicators on what followed after. You are going to get a lot of FUD. You're going to get a lot of people saying it's over. People want clicks, people want views, but my conviction in XRP has never been stronger. The amount of news that is coming in, the amount of partnerships and the collaborations that Ripple is doing, Western Union is small potatoes. They are out the door. Once other people have other avenues to send money like we are seeing, do you think their business is going to grow or shrink over the next 5 to 10 years? Why would Ripple go to try to prop up Western Union? Solana obviously needed this partnership. They needed some positive news, and they got it. I hope they get what they paid for in the end. We will see. Now, Nisbets, I can't say his name. This Needsbucks says, Ripple partnered with MoneyGram 6 years ago, and it ended after a lawsuit. Western Union issuing a single US dollar stablecoin on Solana is nice adoption, but mostly a lukewarm event in today's world mass adoption. The fact that Solana and its lead dev are calling this a dark day for XRP shows that they are very, very jealous of XRP's market cap, have no idea what Ripple or XRP have done since 2019. Think Western Union is a big win for them when wins for other chains involve trillions or quadrillions of possible value. That XRP is in their head, that they can't even celebrate their own announcement without trying to market that bridge currencies and XRP are useless. You have to really be punching up to make your own PR release about another coin. All of this has done is reveal the immense insecurities of Sol supporters, including their official account. Eric Trump said the end of tribalism, but here we are still getting XRP hate on a pretty mundane Western Union stablecoin announcement. I have no hate for Solana, but making your PR wins about other coins is just not a confident look, guys. I'm going to leave it there with you. Please understand that this is not a big deal for me. I think this is just another day, more tribalism, more maximalism, and we are focused on much bigger goals. Western Union, I would call them small potatoes. I would call Western Union going out the door. Where will they still be a company 5 to 10 years? I bet they hope, but I guess we'll see. I hope you got some value, guys. Thank you for being here. I'm Crypto Sensei.